You can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great. Because life can get ugly, and art sure can too. What matters is to do it. Let those feelings flow through you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ugly Podcast. It's me, your host, Laura Alexander. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm your white, curly-headed, androgynous weirdo with big glasses. Today I'm wearing my best mixed frizzle jumpsuit. It has like rainbows and bunnies and tarot or cards and I don't know what else on it. It's great. It's colorful. It's delightful. Makes me feel like a crazy art teacher who's going to take you on all kinds of wild adventures. Um, and I've got a really great guest for you today. This person saw me we encountered each other at Arts the Armory here in Tacoma, and she promptly was like, I recognize you from the internet. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That does not happen to me. So great. So, welcome. My guest is a queer Tacoma artist with a background in graphic design and a BFA in the field with a minor in printmaking. Most of her work is digital illustration and centers around themes of feminism, queer identity, and body acceptance. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Yep,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, my name is Elora Blessing, and my art brand or handle that I go by is Hello Hysteria. I am a white woman with pink hair and I'm really going for the colorful vibe today. I've got lime green glasses and some worm earrings and this like weird tie-dye shirt.
Hell yeah. I love it. Thanks so much for being here with me. I'm so glad that you agreed to just come be awkward and weird with me on the podcast. It's
Yeah,
delightful.
I love finding fellow awkward weirdos to talk to and hang out with.
It's great. We're hard to find because we like to, a lot of times like cower away our weirdness or hide. Like that's how I spent the majority of my like first 30 years of my life, is really hiding a lot of my weirdness. But
Yeah.
like now that it's a lot more out there, then I get to like actually meet people that are like, hey, I see your weirdness. The weirdness in me sees the weirdness in you. Namaste. It's great.
Yes, we're matching. We're matching weirdness. Yeah, I like the second that I saw you at Arts at the Armory, I was like, I sort of know this person, and I want to know them in real life. So
Hell yeah. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Let's jump right into it. Tell the people, kind of about your relationship to creativity, what you do. Yeah, just we'll start there and see where we go.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned in that lovely introduction, I have a background in digital and graphic design, so most of my career has been spent in that space. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts with a major in graphic design. I've spent a lot of my career doing not so exciting creative design related things, and in the last year or so, I've spent some time just taking a step back from the corporate capitalist world and tried to focus a little bit more on creating things that I enjoy that like fill my cup and bring me happiness, which is a lot of, I don't know, like drawing bodies. I'm really into drawing
Mm-hmm.
all different types of bodies and things that just kind of speak to my identity and things that I hope would resonate with other people. I mostly work, like I said, digitally, but I try to translate that sometimes into a physical space. So I print out a lot of my digital stuff. I try to move some digital things to a canvas or even some like sculpture stuff I've played around with in this last year. But yeah, I've been a lifelong creative. I was a high school art club nerd, and I've never art has never not been a part of my life, with that fun double negative. But yeah.
Amazing. And then, so when you were deciding to go into like corporate marketing and like making, that kind of thing, was there like something, was it just kind of like, that's the thing that's going to make me money? Like, I like drawing, I like I like working with things visually, and this is the way I can do that and get paid. Was that the thinking, or like what kind of
Yeah,
drew you into that space?
yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, when I was in high school and not quite sure what career I wanted to go towards, my mom saw my future being a starving artist who like cannot support herself, and she really pushed graphic design because she was like, there's always jobs in graphic design, you'll be able to like have a career, you'll be able to have a steady paycheck. And I kind of drank that Kool-Aid. I mean, I focused most of my my art school time was spent focusing on like just completing school and moving towards getting a career so that I could be successful and make money. And I'm now realizing that I don't want to focus on that so much anymore. I don't want what drives me and my creativity to be centered around how am I going to be able to monetize this. I just want to be able to create stuff and maybe not worry about that so much. I think that realistically, I still have to a little bit because it is my my livelihood. I don't have any
Right. We
other
do live
9 to 5.
under capitalism still. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotta
But
survive.
yeah, and I think that's a little bit of a challenge when it comes to trying to continue being creative and not getting so stuck in like how is this gonna make me money. But that's definitely what ended up originally driving me towards graphic design and the career that I chose. And yeah, I'm just like at a crossroads or a turning point in my life where I'm looking for something different. I'm thinking that I want to start shifting gears and focusing more on creating and less on how I'm going to make money from creating. So,
Yeah. That's a big decision and like a huge shift in one's creative practice.
yeah, I think that it's part of it was originally hold on, give me a second here to think about how I'm going to phrase this. I think part of it originally was kind of forced on me with AI and with the changes of the digital world and all of this like kind of dystopian stuff that's happening in artificial intelligence in the art community, and especially like digitally creating things. I'm seeing more and more that in graphic design and in marketing and in creative jobs that are within this field, there's less of a demand. There's a lot more folks that I know that are in graphic design that are having a hard time finding work because of AI. And so originally it was kind of forced upon me to like reevaluate how I navigate creativity and what I view success and what I want to do as a career. But the more I sat with it and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that like, yeah, I didn't really enjoy making things that were quote unquote creative for big corporations or for other people to make large amounts of money necessarily. I want to shift my creative focus to be more meaningful and to focus more on things that bring me joy.
That's great. Congratulations. That's so
Thanks.
exciting.
Yeah.
What are what are you struggling the most with like now that there's that shift to like focusing on, you know, your joy and meaning making with art, uh, and at the same time having your livelihood hinge on that art. What are you finding is the most struggle for you at the moment?
Yeah, I think that once I stepped outside of this like hustle grind culture that a lot of us have subscribed to, of like working these intense 9 to 5 jobs and not really not really giving ourselves a lot of time for creative space. Now that I kind of have the opposite problem, sometimes I struggle with like not knowing where to start necessarily, or like, okay, what is my next creative project going to be? What is it going to look like now that I have less of a sense of urgency, I guess, to for that like hustle and bustle. I sometimes am just a little bit paralyzed with like where even to start. And I do think that I know that the core of this podcast is about kind of stepping outside of perfectionism and allowing yourself space to make things that are a little less perfect, or just giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself a little bit of grace with the creative process. I do think that I still struggle with that a little bit when it comes to creating for other people. So if I'm taking a portrait commission, or if I'm designing something like, I don't know, a logo or something for somebody, I still have a hard time kind of stepping outside of the like, this needs to look really sharp, this needs to look like the person that I'm drawing the portrait of, this needs to like look as, I need to give it my all, I need to put in my best effort because somebody is paying me for this, and I want
Mm-hmm.
it I want it to come across as fully baked and finalized as possible. And I think that sometimes that creates that little bit of struggle of not allowing myself grace to mess up sometimes, or to kind of make the ugly thing. And I still try to give myself space to create things without the intention of trying to sell it, and that allows me to make weird stuff, make stuff that maybe nobody will buy. And you know, if I go to a market and somebody does end up buying this thing that I maybe don't think looks the best, but somebody else does, then it's kind of a cool bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and I'm curious, do you think that, because I mean, I'm seeing you like do the stuff. Like you are at Arts at the Armory, you have your table of stuff, you're taking commissions, like you're doing the things. So I'm curious like where you think perfectionism is a problem.
um I think that perfectionism is a problem just because like in my experience, living in the world of creatives and being a creative myself, I know that we are our own biggest critics, and we're really like harsh on ourselves. And I think that um it's really hard to break away from that idea of like, the thing that I created isn't that great, or like the thing that I painted or that I drew, nobody's really gonna like it, or this is just for me. And I think that it's an interesting cycle when you are doing something like markets, or you're showing your artwork to your friends and family, and you're getting this like positive feedback and validation, regardless of if it's somebody buying something, if even if it's just a friend telling you that the thing that you made they think is kick ass. I think that it helps quiet that inner critic a little bit, and it does allow you to have a little bit of grace with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
focus a little bit less on things having to be perfect. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think that I've just as time's gone on and as I've been a little kinder to myself and my work and my process, I just feel like naturally I'm getting that fed back to me through validation of other people enjoying my
Yeah.
work. Whereas previously I was so focused on like trying to make things look perfect and make things look a certain way that I was more terrified of getting things out into the world. And so it's
Mhm.
like it's a little bit of a balancing act of putting yourself out there and putting work out there that you're proud of, but maybe you don't think is perfect, and seeing what the response is from other people, because it's usually better than you think it's going to be. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love all that. What I hear you describing is like to a T, like the difference between adaptive and maladaptive perfectionism.
yeah.
Which have you heard of the book, The Perfectionist Guide to Losing Control?
No, but it sounds amazing.
It's incredible. It's by Catherine Morgan Schaffler,
Okay.
and it is like her whole thing talks about how perfectionism can either be the thing that holds you back from your dreams, or it can be the driving force pulling you towards this like really beautiful life that you have envisioned for yourself.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, like that, when you're letting the perfectionism and that negative self-talk stop you from putting yourself out there, that's when you're just like resting in that avoidance, in that like maladaptive space.
Yeah.
And then once you can like start to realize like, okay, I can put my imperfect work out there. I
Mhm.
can I I can try the thing and make mistakes. Then you start venturing into like that adaptive perfectionism, which actually is just
Yeah.
kind of like striving. Like it's
Yeah.
like so when I was listening to you talk about like, getting that commission just right for your client, like
Mhm.
that desire for a really beautiful piece of art for your clients, like that's a wonderful drive, like that's a
Yeah.
beautiful striving to have. So that's really beautiful, and it sounds like you're doing all the things to like challenge that perfectionism in like healthy and hard ways, and like I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, and just to like speak a little bit more about commission work and like how perfectionism I feel sometimes holds me back, but
Mm-hmm.
ends up like if I kind of just loosen the reins, it ends up working out. I almost always will send a commission to a client, like an initial draft to get their feedback. And when I send them the initial draft, in my mind, I'm already thinking like, there's a lot of stuff that I need to update on this. There's a lot of stuff that I still want
Mm-hmm.
changed, but I just want to like see what the client thinks and see like if they think that this portrait is what they were hoping. And I tend to send it with the assumption that they're going to give me a lot of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And almost always they are just like, this looks great. Don't change anything. And it almost always throws me because I'm like, I see a ton of stuff that I could tweak. I could keep tweaking. I could keep like making this a little bit more perfect. I could keep making this a
Mm-hmm.
little bit better. But that's that perfectionism of like just keep
Mm-hmm.
going, like just, and if I leaned into that too hard, I would never be able to complete anything. I would never be able to
Yeah.
finish a commission. So it's definitely a balancing act of like trying to decide, okay, that I think that this is in a good spot where I can show the person that hired me, and I can get an idea of like if they like the direction I'm heading, if they don't like it, and then get that feedback from them of like, this is great. You don't have to put in 20 more hours into this piece of art because it's
Yeah.
almost done. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the time I have wasted just like making the tiniest changes to
Yeah.
anything from like emails to social media posts to like just the endless tweaks you can make to things.
Yeah. And when you do that, it's just like, well, I'm never going to get anything done if I just like keep changing it a little bit, a little bit. I'm just going to keep adjusting this painting a little bit. I'm just going to keep working on this like digital illustration a little bit. And if at some point you're not like, okay, this is I need to step away. This is
Yeah.
great. This is good for what it is. I don't need to like keep you'd be paralyzed. You'd never be able to get anything out into the world. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like, especially when you're working for yourself, you're selling your own art, and we live under capitalism, like your survival is also tied to your time, and like
yeah.
time is money. And when you are spending so long on this one piece that you're only getting a certain amount for.
Exactly. Well, and it's so interesting as a creative who's trying to make a living off of the things that I make. It's been a really interesting mind shift when it comes to money and valuing myself and valuing the work that I do. Because depending on the area that you live in, depending on the people around you, and how they value art, like different communities will feed into creativity and the arts community in different ways. And I, growing up, the area that I'm from now has an amazing art community and puts tons of money and resources into the local art scene. But at the time, I kind of was getting this like external messaging that art is like kind of, I don't know if frivolous is the right word, but like it was always really difficult to
Yeah.
prove your worth as an artist in that space. And I think that's something that I've had to practice and learn as I've gone through my career, and valuing myself and kind of like putting worth on my work and not letting other people determine what the value is. But yeah, it's hard. I still struggle with it because, to your point, it's like, okay, I'm going to charge this amount, which I think is reasonable for a piece of art, but also how long am I going to realistically spend on it versus how long I should, like how much I'm charging for it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So you said this has been your first year kind of like entering into the artist space in Tacoma, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, how is
Yeah.
that going for you? What are some of like your takeaways? What are you
It's
learning?
been really interesting. I've lived in Tacoma since 2016, and I have spent the majority of the time just being like a lurker of the art community and going to markets and purchasing from local artists and checking out the museum and galleries and things like that, but not really actively engaging or like inserting myself into the community as a fellow creative. And so this year that was like kind of my mission to put myself out there a little bit more, put my art out there, see if I could make connections with other artists. And it's been really great. I think that markets are a little bit of a mixed bag for creatives, because the there's so many. It's very Tacoma is very saturated with markets, and I think that
Yeah.
each one offers a different clientele or a different crowd. And if I'm selling illustrations of fat AFAB bodies in a market where that's not really the thing that people are interested in purchasing, then I'm not necessarily going to see a lot of monetary success in those spaces. But that doesn't mean that I haven't been successful in putting myself out there like that, because um, participating in markets like that allows me the chance to connect with other local artists and kind of get an idea of what other people are making, and even just, yeah, like talking to people that that attend markets, and that's been really cool to experience. Market stuff aside, I've been trying really hard to put myself into spaces that are outside of my comfort zone. Like I attended a mask making class, I believe in the spring. That was really cool. And it was hosted by an amazing local artist named Cassandra Curing, I believe is her last name. And that's how I met this other amazing local artist. And um, I participated in a ceramics class through Fee, which was really cool. And it's just been like putting myself out there in spaces that are outside of my comfort zone has brought me a little bit of financial, like minimal financial success, but mostly like networking and meeting other people and learning about the community and connecting with other artists has been the thing that has brought me the most joy and has filled my cup the most. And like you mentioned, us meeting at Arts at the Armory, that market, it has been my favorite market for years as a patron of the arts. But being there for the first time this year as a vendor was such an amazing experience because I got to talk to so many people that are there specifically to support the arts. So I met people that work in nonprofits around town. I met people that do murals, that we shared information about, like maybe collaborating. And it was just
Cool.
I mean, I met you. I ended up on a podcast because
Yeah.
I put myself out there, and I put myself into a market that I like maybe previous me would have been like hesitant and stuck in this like, is my stuff good enough to even participate in this market? And it's just like, it's worked out really well. I've definitely applied for some local mural projects and grants and things like that I ended up getting rejected for. And I think that is also healthy to experience like a little bit of rejection therapy of like, okay, I didn't get it for this one, but that's not going to stop me from applying to another project and seeing if I can get, participate in that. So it's been a good year of growth for me as far as getting more involved in the Tacoma arts. So
Yeah. Oh, that's so amazing. I love that. I love that you're on this journey. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
I really love how, and this is something that you mentioned in like our planning for the podcast, but like the how collaborative the arts community is here, and just like the ways that people focus on collaboration over competition is really beautiful. I don't know if you have other thoughts on that, but like that's something that I've really appreciated. I appreciate that about like the editing community that I'm a part of. Like editors are always so willing to like share ideas and share clients when we're booked up, and just share information. And so yeah, it's wonderful to see that in the arts as well.
Yeah, I think that it's something that I personally have needed to spend some time rewiring my brain about a little bit, like as I've gotten older and gone through my journey as a creative, of like understanding that we're not in competition with each other. I mean, there are so many amazing glass blowers in Tacoma, and they all have similar skill sets, but completely different art that they create. And it's really cool to see the communities like that around town come together and work together to learn from each other and grow and collaborate and make this like really cool stuff that normally in, I don't know, in a more competitive setting, you would just kind of be isolated and focusing on making your thing the best thing so that it's better than this other person that you're that's also working on something similar. It's just I just really, I think that collaboration and and knowing that when another creative is giving you input on something or advice on something, that it's we're all just in it to grow and learn from each other, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't need to be like a slight, or it doesn't need to be taken as an insult. I think that in the time that I spent working in the corporate world, I was part of these processes that involved a lot of like checks and balances. There was an art director that would give feedback on some work, and there were junior designers that were learning from senior level designers. And I think in those processes, I learned very quickly not to take feedback personally, which is kind of hard to do when you're a creative, because the thing you're creating is very personal.
It's personal,
Yeah, it's like, I made this thing and you're saying that I need to change it. But once I shifted my mindset to understanding that when people are providing you feedback on something, I mean, one, you can take it with a grain of salt. You can take it or leave it, but also it just use it as an opportunity to grow and make something even better. And yeah, I don't know. I just I want all creatives to just like vibe and enjoy each other and enjoy each other's work, and not always be in competition, because the world we live in is already very stressful and competitive, and art should be fun and relaxing, and it should bring joy to people. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. We should all just vibe.
we should. I just want all the artists of the world to vibe. I don't know.
Spectacular. I love it. Title of the episode: Let's just vibe.
Let's just vibe. Yep.
Well, would you like to vibe and make some ugly art together?
Let's do it. I'm definitely not stressed about making some ugly art in real time on this podcast. It'll be great.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna look how it looks. It's gonna be spectacular.
Exactly. Do you have like a method for how you start these this ugly art? Is there like a what do you, yeah.
For me, I like to kind of invoke my bodily intuition and just kind of like ask how my hand wants to move.
Okay.
So I like to start with just a scribble on the page.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need help figuring out what color to start with, I have color dice.
Wow.
So I can roll some color dice. If you'd like, I can roll some color dice right now if I can find them. I think they're amazing. They fell toward the back of my desk. And then I am very inspired by your earrings, so I feel like I want to make some ugly worms.
Yes, do it. The artist, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm just gonna, since we've talked about the worms, I'm gonna do a shout out to the local artists. Their Instagram handle is Welcome to Slime Time, and they tend to be at a lot of really cool markets around town, and they make the coolest worm earrings. So please check them out.
Incredible. I love that name. That's amazing.
Welcome to Slime Time. Yep.
Welcome to Slime Time. Perfect. How would you like to start? Would you like a color dye? Would you like a more specific prompt? Or are you good?
I like the idea of just starting with a squiggle and seeing where it goes. So I think I'm just gonna do that if that works.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of this game I guess I used to play when I was a kid, called, I think it was called the Scribble Game or the Doodle Game. I don't know if you've ever played it or something similar, since I just made up that name. But
I'll have to hear more.
It's with, so you play it with at least two people, and you make, one person makes a squiggle, and then the next person has to like take that squiggle and figure out what like create an image from that squiggle. So that like
Yes.
as soon as you were like start with the squiggle, I was like, the squiggle game, the doodle game.
The squiggle
I've been
game.
here.
Yeah, I did that. My mom did that for my brother and I when we were kids on like road trips. We would do
Uh-huh.
those. Yeah, absolutely. That
Amazing.
absolutely has influenced where this came from for sure. Yeah, I'm just I set a 5-minute timer, and we'll just kind of doodle. And if you can chat while you doodle, then we can do that. If you would like some time to just focus on your doodle, we can just doodle in silence.
I like the idea of chatting.
Okay.
I could probably do both. I don't know. This is going to be an ugly doodle, right? So there's
Yeah.
low stakes, low pressure.
Very low stakes. So I wanted to ask you, as somebody who has an education in an art field, and a desire to continue schooling, because yesterday you shared with me that you would like to go get your master's.
Yeah.
What are some of the things about like formal art education that you enjoy, and what are some things that you wish were different? Because I hear a lot of complaints about art school, and I think you're maybe the first person I've talked to on this podcast, at least, that wants to return to art school.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So I'm
Okay.
fascinated.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you like I mentioned, my previous art school experience, the university I went to wasn't technically an art school. They just had an art department. But I think that the thing that seems the most appealing to me about going back to art school is more the change in myself and my own mentality about how to navigate education, and not focusing so much on the actual education of it. So like I said, when I was getting my BFA, I was really focused on just like finishing, just getting it done. And I didn't spend a lot of time um, really using the resources that I had available as an art student. I didn't I was just trying to like jam through my classes and get the thing done and get the degree. And I, looking back, and now that I don't have access to like a designated studio space, or like a kiln, or metal making things, it kind of makes me sad that I didn't utilize those spaces better, take more advantage of them. And so I think that that's really the appeal of going back to art school for me, is just that I have a shift in my own mindset, and I am excited to head back to a space where I my whole the whole focus of being there is to create. I don't think I've experienced a whole lot of spaces like that you don't have to pay for. Well, I guess you pay for education too, but it's more about that for me, of just like, I don't know, like being excited to create. And I don't know what grad school is going to be like. That's what I think. That's the other thing that's kind of the big unknown, is I only have an undergrad, which is very different from grad school from what I hear. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I don't know. And that excites me too. And like I mentioned earlier about like the things that I've taken out of this last year, and being part of the community, and like networking unintentionally and meeting new creatives, I think that that's the thing that excites me the most about going back to school, is I feel like doors are going to open for me that I don't even know are there. And I'm going to meet such cool creatives while I'm in school. And that's really what is the most exciting for me about it all. I don't know if I have a whole lot to say as far as complaints of of education, because my BFA was like 13. I think I got it 13 years ago at this point, and I don't know, I was a little like sassy early 20s kid at the time, and I didn't like school, but I don't think that it was because of the school. I think it was because I was like, I just want to get out of here, and I just want to move on with my life and be an adult. And yeah, so I don't know, it'll be interesting. Maybe talk to me in a couple of years after I've gone through grad school. I might have
Yes, we'll
something
have you
different
back
to
on.
say. Yeah, I might have something very different to say at that point, but who knows?
No, I love that. I think your perspective on it is like exactly what art school should be,
Yeah,
and hopefully will be. And like the
yeah,
yeah, I think that's wonderful, and I'm really excited for your future studies and how it goes
thank
for you.
yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, I'm going into it with positivity, and I hope that that's what I'm able to get out of it too. And I don't leave art school and a master's program feeling I don't know, burnt out and jaded. I think that it's gonna be good. I think that it's gonna help me unlock parts of my creativity that I don't even know are missing. So be
Yeah.
cool.
Well, like so much of that just depends on the teachers, and like the
Hmm.
main thing that I talk to people about like here on this podcast with like the issues with education is like you'll have that one teacher that tells you that your art is bad and it
Hmm.
just sticks with you and like and
Oh, I
so
know.
the more well and like I mean I hope it's okay if I share this, but you mentioned like thinking about becoming an art teacher yourself
Yeah,
someday. And like
yeah.
after like these conversations with you, I feel like you would be such a wonderful art teacher. Just like,
Oh, thank you.
like it's the difference between the art teacher who thinks that your creativity has to be expressed along the guidelines or has to look a certain way, and if it doesn't
Yeah,
then you fail,
yeah,
and and then like the art teacher who's like your creativity is unique to you, and like how can we foster that and explore that, and how do you want to connect with an audience, and how do you want to express yourself like this. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. It reminds me of this conversation that I had with a high school friend back in high school, where he he was getting really frustrated with this art teacher because she was telling him that the art he was making was like wrong, and it was like not the like fine art does not have any thick black outlines, and when you make art
Mm,
you have to make sure that it, and like she in her mind had a very specific way that she wanted art to look, and the art that she taught to look. And he was really upset by that because that's not the style that he wanted to create art in, and he went on to be a really successful game developer and designer, and he like makes all these really cool video games now. And guess what? There's black lines all over his art, and he is successful. And I think that having little experiences like that and little interactions throughout my education and talking to other creatives, hopefully will help, if I do end up getting into any
yeah.
kind of academic field or teaching, will help me be mindful of taking people and creatives as they are and their work as it is, and just kind of maybe pushing skill sets a little bit, but not necessarily telling somebody that the art that they're making is bad because
Yeah.
it doesn't look the way that I think art should look, which is such a weird thing considering art is so subjective.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did you make? We're well past 5 minutes, but we were having a
Yeah,
good talk.
yeah.
So,
I
uh,
drew I started with a squiggle, but then it turned into a belly button, and then that turned into a torso. And so I've got this like a disembodied torso, like there's no head, there's no legs, it's just a belly button and boobs and shoulders. So
hell yeah, I love it.
what
Wonderful.
did you make? Let me see.
I made worms,
Yes.
and It just is a bunch of worms standing up out of the ground, and it says "Worms time."
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy worms very much. I made this little drawing that I turned into a sticker a while back. That was, I don't know if you ever saw the like the thing on the internet that was like, if you would you still love me if I was a worm? I drew two worms that were like entangled with each other, and it one worm is saying to the other one, would you still love me if I was a human? And oh, you got yep, that one. That's the one. Say you already.
My
Yeah.
partner brought it. My partner bought it. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Yeah. It's just so funny to me. I think it's so silly.
Yeah.
But
Would you
I don't
still
know.
love me if I was a human? Ew, no.
No, humans are, I don't know. Worms.
Ugh.
Worms are great. Worms have no nervous systems. Worms have no like concept
To be a worm.
no concept of capitalism, no concept of government. They're just vibing. We should all just vibe.
We should all just vibe like the worms. Oh my god.
Amazing.
So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. This has been so lovely.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, Elora.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about anything you'd like to plug for yourself, for anyone you're working with, or upcoming events?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I know I've been talking a lot about markets on this podcast, and I do have one final market coming up this year. That's it's the Brewery District Makers Market. It's at Seven Seas in Tacoma from 5 to 9. It's free. You can go get a local beer and check out some awesome artists for any like last minute, I don't know, things that you need for the holidays. And the other thing that I've mentioned in excess here is that I take commissions and try very hard to not be too in my head about them. So I'm always down to draw people and pets and all of that stuff, or just, I don't know, if people want me to draw something weird, that'd be really cool. I haven't gotten a lot of weird commission requests, but yeah. And then I would love for listeners to check out my Instagram, which is hello.hysteria, and it's painfully inactive because I'm bad at social media, but I try and I post things once in a while, so check it out.
Excellent. Sounds good. And you might have mentioned it, but I think I might have missed it. What weekend is that market that you mentioned?
Oh, it is December 18th. I probably didn't.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
that is
coming up.
Great, because this podcast will come out on the 15th. So if you're listening to this right once it comes out, it is going to be in 2 days or 3 days.
Ooh, sweet. You have 2 days to go to the fish market. Yeah. No, great. Cool.
Excellent. Great. Well,
awesome.
Thank you again. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Go out and make something ridiculous. Make your art, be weird, and keep it ugly.
Yeah.
The Ugly Podcast is created by me, Laura Alexander of Scribe and Sunshine. It's produced and sort of edited also by me, and written and directed by absolutely no one. Our theme song was written and produced by the amazing Zoe Tronic. If you like the podcast, be sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred platform and share with the creative people in your life. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, head to scribeandsunshine.com to learn more about my ugly art workshops and my editing services. If you haven't yet today, I dare you to make that thing you've been thinking about making but have been too scared it's gonna be terrible. Make it terrible. And as always, keep it ugly.
You can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great.